Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Welcome to this class on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, chapter number 7, part number 2. Let us start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskruchya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Girim Yat Kripatam Hamvande Sri Gurum Dina Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tatsat Om Agyanati Mirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Swami Niti Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to this class on Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us start. So today's chapter is very interesting. It is the name of this chapter today that we're going to do today. We'll just talk about it. Yeah, it is called, the name of this canto is Status Quo, and the name of the chapter is Further Enquiries by Vidura. So this is a conversation between Vidura and Maitreya Rishi. So this is the conversation that's going on. So the context is that Vidura has left the kingdom and he went on a pilgrimage. And later he realized that the Kurukshetra war is over. And also Krishna and Balaram and the Yadus have all disappeared. Krishna and Balaram have disappeared and went back to their original place. And later he realizes that Uddhava has come there. So he speaks to Uddhava and asks him to give him transcendental knowledge. So this is the process of seeking knowledge. So we should go to an advanced soul and seek knowledge. So it is called as Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. So it is called as Samitpani. That means that, we have to go to a bona fide spiritual master and request to give the transcendental knowledge. So this is the process of receiving transcendental knowledge. But then Uddhava, he received the transcendental knowledge from whom? He received the transcendental knowledge from Lord Krishna himself, because Uddhava was a very pure devotee. But then Uddhava did not start speaking. Uddhava said that you please go to Maitreya Rishi and take the knowledge from him. Because he does not want to do the Maryada Vyatikramana. That means he does not want to cross certain boundaries. That he doesn't want to cross that ethical boundaries. That, you please go and ask somebody senior, because Maitreya Rishi is senior. So you please ask to him. So this is also one lesson that, in the presence of seniors, we should be very humble. We should not be very eager to impart instructions. This is very important. So then Vidura went to Maitreya Rishi and he started asking so many questions. So as a part of that, he's asking questions now. And Maitreya Rishi has not started answering yet. Maitreya Rishi will start answering after the questions are completed by Vidura. Okay, now let us see what are the questions that were asked by Maitreya Rishi. So today's chapter is known as Further Questions by Vidura to Maitreya. So that means there are further questions. There are many more questions that have been asked. See, the beauty lies in questioning. So everything is there in the question. So there is a verse that says, if you ask questions, you shall get the answers. Right? If you seek, you shall get it. If you knock the door will be open. Right? So if you ask the questions, you will get the answer. But the problem is, we have stopped asking questions. Or we do not know what kind of questions we should ask. So, but we are very lucky because we have some advanced personalities like Vidura asking questions on our behalf. So we can take advantage of those questions that have been asked. So let us see what are the questions that he's asking and what is the knowledge that we are going to get from those questions. Okay, I'll share my screen here. I hope you are all able to see my screen here. So we are going to do from the verse number 20 to verse number 42 from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, chapter number 7 and part 2. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is very special and Canto 3 is filled with knowledge. So this Canto 3 has a lot of chapters. A lot of chapters. This is amazing lot of chapters are there inside this Canto number 3. Okay, approximately around 32 chapters are there. 32 chapters are there. Filled with knowledge. Okay, the first part of it in the third canto is the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. The second part of it is Lord Varaha's pastimes. The third part of it, which is important in this canto, is Lord Kapila's instructions to his mother Devahuti. So everything is very important. So please listen very attentively as we begin. Okay. So here is the first verse of Bhagavatam. Let me also open the verse. So we are in third canto, 7th verse, 7th chapter. Go to the 20th verse. Durapahi alpa tapasaha seva vaikunta vartmasu jatropagiyate nityam deva devo janardanaha. So what it means is persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees who are progressing on the path back to kingdom of Godhead, the Vaikuntas. Pure devotees engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the demigods and the controller of all living entities. So here it is said that it is very, very rare to obtain the service of the pure devotees. You see, you know this picture? This picture or painting is the painting of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, his name was Abhay Charan De. So Abhay Charan De, he was taking initiation from his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So the first meeting between Srila Prabhupada and his spiritual master, it turned his life. So Srila Prabhupada, he was studying in a very famous college in Kolkata. You know, it's the same college where Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose studied. Okay. It's a very famous college, Scottish William College. So he was studying there and his friend said, okay, let's go and meet one sadhu. Srila Prabhupada said, I don't believe in them. You see, these sadhus, they're just simply fake. They're hypocrites. But then he said, no, this sadhu is different. Let's go and meet him. Then Srila Prabhupada agreed. He said, all right, let's go. Then Srila Prabhupada and his friend, they went to meet Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as soon as he saw Srila Prabhupada, he started saying that you people who are very good at English, you can speak English very nicely, and you are also connected to your roots. So you must go to the West and preach this Krishna consciousness. So at that point, Srila Prabhupada said, what is it that we are going to get by preaching this Krishna consciousness? At this moment of time, India needs independence. That is the important goal. So that was back in 1930s or something. I don't remember. But it was before independence. Then Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he very easily defeated his argument, saying, you see, the real independence for the soul is going back to home, back to Godhead. And political independence is temporary. We are talking about real independence here. And Srila Prabhupada thought, here is a real sadhu. And he thought inside his heart, I shall surrender unto this sadhu. I will take initiation from him. So a couple of years later, he took initiation from him. And he used to serve his Guru Maharaj. He used to listen to his lectures. And then he advanced. You see. And then today we have Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master of the entire world, distributing Krishna consciousness. He's delivering. He has delivered innumerable souls, and we are all taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So obtaining the service of pure devotees is very rare. And it is not obtainable for everybody. It's not that anybody can just go and serve a pure devotee. It is not possible. Bhagavatam says. There are some people for whom the service is not obtainable. Who are they? For whom austerity is very meager. Tapasya. See, it requires a lot of tapasya, which you must have performed in the previous lifetime or in this lifetime. So much of tapasya if you have done, then you get a chance to associate with a pure devotee and serve him. It is a very rare opportunity. It is not that anybody can get this chance. No. And why are pure devotees so great, Because they engage 100% in glorifying the Lord. Not 1%, not 10%, not 70%, 80%. How much percent? 100%. So they give their 100% in serving the Supreme Lord. So that is why they are very great. And obtaining the service of that pure devotees is also very, very great. Let's see the next verse. So after creating the total material energy, the Mahatattva, and thereby manifesting the gigantic universal form with the senses and the sense organs, the Supreme Lord entered within it. The Supreme Personality of Godhead entered within the Mahatattva. You know what is this Mahatattva? You can think of it like some raw materials. Just think of this. Think of a finished product like a big skyscraper building. Okay, like Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. Okay, very beautiful, very tall skyscraper building. But if you look at it, before it was constructed, if you bring all the raw materials together and dump it, it's just raw material. Cement is there, mud is there, sand is there, steel is there. And if you just make everything one lump, just mix everything, liquefy it and make it into one lump. So that is Mahatattva. That is the original unmanifested material energy. Before the creation of the universe, the material nature was like a lump. So Lord, he enters into this Mahatattva. He creates the Mahatattva, first of all, material energy. And then he manifests the gigantic universal form of the Lord. So you see, this is the universal form of the Lord. Right? So this has unlimited hands, unlimited faces, unlimited legs everywhere. So with the help of the universal form, he is pervading everywhere in the universe. the Supreme Lord entered into that. So in the verse number 22, it is said, the Purusha Incarnation lying on the causal ocean is called the original Purusha in the material creations. And in his Virat Rupa, in whom all the planets and inhabitants live, he has got thousands of legs and hands. We just now saw the Virat Rupa. That Virat Rupa, inside that, all the 14 planetary systems are there. And all the inhabitants of the universe reside in that Virat Rupa, and which has thousands of legs and hands. And the origin of that Virat Rupa, okay, is called as the Mahavishnu. That is the Karanodakashayi Vishnu. So the origin of this universe is Karanodakashayi Vishnu. You see, it's so beautifully scientifically described. We spoke about each universe. Inside universe, we have the Virat Rupa. So this is, if you go one step backwards, all the universes are emanating from the skin pores of Karanodakashayi Vishnu. Karanodakashayi Vishnu is also known as Mahavishnu. From him, all the universes are coming. Right? So he has got, and he is expanding himself as Virat Purusha. Let's go to the verse number 23. So now, Vidura is talking to Maitreya Rishi. O great Brahmana, you have told me that the gigantic Virat form and his senses, sense objects, and 10 kinds of life air exist with 3 kinds of life vigor. Now, if you will kindly explain to me the different powers of the specific divisions. The question here is asked about the different powers of the specific divisions of the Virat Rupa. So, whatever we have, the Virat Rupa has. Actually, it is opposite. Whatever the Virat Rupa has, we have. The Virat Rupa also has the senses, therefore we have senses. The Virat Rupa has the mind, intelligence and false ego, we have that. So whatever Virat Rupa has, we have got in a minute form. So just like a fire and a spark. So fire is quantitatively bigger. If you take a small spark of it, that is living entity. So whatever originally the Supreme Lord has got, we also have got it in a minute quantity. So now let us see what is being spoken about here. Here is saying about the senses. We know that, we have 10 senses, correct? 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5, work related senses, activity related senses. I mean, that is 5 senses with which we can do activities. Now, there is something interesting here. 10 kinds of life air. Life air means prana. We usually think, prana means 1. If a person has prana, he will live. If the prana is gone out of the body, life air is dead. That's what we know, prana. But sometimes we also say pancha prana, right? Prana, pana, vyana, udana, samana. So pranaya swaha, udanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha. So these are the mantras that are chanted before eating food by the Brahmanas. So this is the pancha prana. So what are these pancha prana? Actually speaking, there are 10 pranas, 10 kinds of life air. Let's see. So the pancha prana, I'll just tell you first. So first one is called as prana. Prana means breathing. The breathing that we do, breathing capacity. Udana, okay, that is senses. Vyana, heart. Samana, stomach. Apana means excretory organs. So these are the 5 airs that are working inside our body. Okay. If one of these airs stops working, then we would be dead or we would be deceased. So this is the air that is working within us. So to speak about the 10 pranas, the first one is called prana. It is for breathing, sighing and coughing. So for example, if I'm breathing, pranayama, that's why they say, right? Pranayama means regulation of this prana. Apana. Apana is excretion of waste matter from the body. That is apana. Samana means digestion. So this life air, samana, is in the center part of the body. You see here, samana is here in the stomach. and it is meant for the digestion and the growth. Vyana is the nourishment of the whole body. So Vyana is everywhere, circulatory system. Okay, if you have to put it in the modern medical terms. And Udana is lifting up of the body, which lifts up. That is Udana. And we have 5 others and pranas called Naga. So sometimes after eating food, we belch. From where is that coming? Belch. That is Naga. Okay, you see this picture. Naga is coming. This is a belching. Naga is belching. Okay. Similarly, we have 4 more pranas. Let's see what are there. Next one is called as Kurma. Kurma means your eyelids are opening and closing, right? You're not doing anything special. I mean, I'm not voluntarily doing it. Automatically, every couple of seconds, my eyelids are opening and closing. Kurma is the life air responsible for that. And we have Krikala. Krikala is the life air responsible for controlling hunger. So if this is out of balance, our hunger will be out of balance. So sometimes some people have too much hunger. Sometimes they don't have very bad hunger. Correct? So it's called a Vishamagni or Tiksha Agni. Okay, Vishamagni, Tiksha Agni and Alpa Agni. That means very weak digestive system. Some people, they don't feel hungry at all. Some people feel hungry very frequently. Tikshna Agni. Some people Vishamagni. Suddenly he will say, give me the food, give me the food. On the other day, I'm not hungry. This is Vishamagni. You see, Krikala is the one that is managed. Devadatta is yawning. Bhagavatam class, yawning starts. So Devadatta, life air, right? So Dhananjaya is one life air, which is meant for absorption of the body and swelling up. So whenever you see swelling in your body, that's because of this life air, Dhananjaya. So this is the summary picture. There are 10 pranas shown here. Apana is below, Samana is in the center, Prana is near the chest region, Udana is near the throat region, Vyana is the whole body, and Devadatta is near the eyes, Krikila is near the nose, like that for sneezing and all. Dhananjaya is near the arms, etc. Okay. So this was the question about the 10 life airs. This was some information about 10 kinds of life air. Okay. So that was asked by Maitreya to Vidura. Sorry, Vidura to Maitreya. The question has been asked that please tell me in clarity, like what are these 10 airs corresponding to the Virat Rupa. Let's see the 24th verse. Oh my Lord, I think that the process manifest in the forms of sons, grandsons, and family members has spread all over the universe in different varieties and species. So you see, this whole world has a scheme. It's not random. So there is an engineer behind this. There is a creator behind this. There is a creator for the creator as well. And we see that there are so many human beings and various ethnicities are there. That's only about human beings. And we have so many animals, reptiles, and fishes, and birds. Different type of animals are there, right? So they spread all over the universe in different varieties and species. And generations are going on. We only think about our generations. Okay, my father, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather. I'm coming from such a great family. Okay, that's nice. But you see, even the frogs, dogs, cats, snakes, everybody also have their own family lineage. So they have their father, grandfather, great-grandfather. Like that, the entire family lineage is there. It's not that they have appeared out of the blue. There was a bang, boom, and then everything came. No, it's not like that. They have their father, grandfather, everything. So everybody, if we trace back the root of all this, the root of everybody, it will start from Brahma. So Lord Brahma and the 4 Kumaras and then 11 Rudras were born, and then the Prajapatis were born, and Manu was born. Right? So like that, all the living entities came forth. So verse number 25. O learned Brahmana, please describe how the leader of the demigods, namely Prajapati Brahma, decided to establish various Manus, the heads of ages. Please describe the Manus also and describe the descendants of those Manus. You see, in the lifetime of Brahma, a lifetime of Brahma spans to 100 years. That works out to 311 trillion years. So if I ask you, how many zeros are there in 1 trillion? Can anybody put in the chat? Just put it in the chat. How many zeros are there in 1 trillion? 1 million has 6, 1 billion has 9, so 1 trillion has 12. So 311 multiplied by, you put 12 zeros beside 311. That is the age of Brahma. Years, 311 trillion years. So in a day of Brahma, 1 day of Brahma, 430 crore years. Okay. So in 1 day of Brahma, again there is a division called 14 Manvantaras. There are 14 Manus. Okay. This is Manu. Who is Manu? Manu is also incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is one type of avatar of Lord Krishna. Krishna is saying that I incarnate every age for establishing religious principles. So Manu is responsible for establishing religious principles among the human beings, among the civilized human beings. So this is for the civilized human beings, not for uncivilized animal-like human beings. So that is what is Manu for. Right? So Manu, there are 14 Manus in 1 day of Brahma. So 14 Manus, the current Manu we are in is called as Vivasvata Manu, Manvantara. We are in the middle. So 14 are there in spanning across 1000 Kalpa, 1000 Yugas, 1000 Chatur Yugas. So we are in the 7th one. Okay. That is Manu. So therefore he's asking, seeking information. Please speak about Manus. Talk about the descendants of Manus. So particularly he will speak about Swayambhuva Manu, who is the first Manu. So we will see in the coming chapters, Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa. All these will be described. Right? How Kardama Muni was married to the daughter of Manu. That will be described in the coming chapters of Canto number 3. Text 26. O son of Mitra, kindly describe how the planets are situated above the earth as well as underneath it. Also, please mention the measurement as well as that of the earthly planets. Now, here is Vedic Cosmology. Here is a question which is seeking information about the Vedic Cosmology. So, the cosmology of the entire universe is there in the Canto number 5 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, entire Vedic Cosmology is there. You see, in Mayapur, they are building a very large temple called Temple of Vedic Planetary. So in that temple, they are going to display the Vedic cosmology. So as per the Vedas, what are all the 14 planetary systems within the universe? You see, we are in the Bhuloka. Can you see in the middle here? This is Bhuloka. Okay. And there is Mount Meru. And we are currently in Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa is in the center. Okay. And there are 7 islands, concentric circles, which are surrounded by 7 oceans, Sapta Samudra. And above the Bhuloka, there are 6 planetary systems. Below, there are 7. Totally 14 planetary system. So all that description is there. The topmost planetary system is Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma is there. The lowermost is Patala. And below that is Anantashesha. Anantashesha is the Supreme Lord Incarnation, you see. Okay. So this entire universe is within the water called Garbhodaka ocean. So in that Garbhodaka ocean, Lord Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu is there. So this is the thing. The Vedic cosmology versus the modern cosmology. Vedic cosmology says God is there and everything is a creation of God. But the modern cosmology, we try to remove completely the concept of God wherever possible. So this is a more or less atheistic kind of a mindset. So, but as far as the Vedas are concerned, we can see at every point, you see the entire universe is resting on Ananta Shesha. And this Garbhodaka water and this universe is entering into the Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu at the end of the day of one Kalpa. And all the universes are retracting into Mahavishnu. Then where is the chance that we can say that there is no God? Right? So there is no possibility. So that is what is Srimad Bhagavatam. As soon as we hear Srimad Bhagavatam with faith, Lord will enter into our heart. Let's see the verse number 27. Also, please describe the living beings under the classifications: subhuman, human, those who are born of the embryo, those born of perspiration, those who are twice born, and the plants and vegetables. Kindly describe their generations and subdivisions. Now, I don't know the exact science that it is called, but it is the science of studying all the species of life. That is, what kind of species of life is there on this earth. Very interesting classification. Let's see. Svedaja, Udvija, Andaja, and Jarayuja. It's like oviparous, viviparous in modern terminology. Let's see what it is. Svedaja means those born out of perspiration. See, the germs are born out of sweat. They do not have parents. The germs will be born in sweat. So Svedaja is one kind of animals. That is the more or less very low kind of animals. Actually, it is said, those people who do not take spirituality seriously, who waste the human form of life, it is said in the Chandogya Upanishad that they will be born as this, Kitaka, as germs, very insignificant birth. Life is there, birth is there, but very insignificant. Next one is Udbija. This is born out of soil. You see, trees are there. The trees, they are also standing very nicely. Prabhupada writes in one of the books, small books, very nice. The trees are also enjoying one level of happiness. But then the tree is also thinking, I am very happy. But the level of enjoyment that the tree has and the level of enjoyment that we have is a lot different. The tree is standing in the summer, in the hot sun, getting wet in the rainy, it's in the cold, standing naked there, and it is still enjoying life, right? So, but, I mean, you can consider that as happiness, but that's not real standard of happiness. The real standard of happiness, human beings can say. So, yes, those people who act shamelessly like trees, they are born as trees. We see in the Krishna's pastime, Yamalarjuna pastime, we see Nalakuvaira and Manigriva, they got cursed to become trees. So just see trees around you and think that, oh, these are all human beings here. Just look outside your house and see, oh, so many human beings are there here. Okay, unfortunately, they have not used the human form of life and they have acted shamelessly. That's why now they are born as trees, to cut their karma. So that is Udbija, born of soil. Next is Andaja, birds. See, the birds are born. This is also karma. Born out of egg. You see, the small birds born out of egg, sitting in the nest, waiting for the mother and father birds to bring some tasty worms to eat. This is also one standard of living. Okay. But we know that better than that is born out of womb. Okay, these are all mammals, right? Born out of womb. Right? So out of the mammals, the best ones are the ones which are walking on two legs. Chimpanzees, orangutans. Better than those walking on the two legs are the human beings. So human form of life is very advanced. We must realize that. And who said that there is no connection between biology and spirituality? There is an obvious connection. So it depends upon the level of spirituality that we do, the kind of body that we get. You see, Gajendra, he was a king in the previous lifetime. He was an elephant, right? So he was cursed by one of the rishis that you become an elephant. You behave very arrogantly, therefore you become an elephant. But luckily he could remember his past. And then when he was caught by a crocodile, he worshipped Lord. He just said, he did not even take names, okay? He just said, if Supreme Personality of Godhead is there, I don't know who it is, let him come and please save me. And then Lord Vishnu came. Because Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he immediately killed that crocodile and saved it. So these are the 4 types of births. So that's what he's asking about. Let's go to the next verse. Please describe the incarnations of the material modes of nature, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. Please describe the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his magnanimous activities. So you see, the most empowered incarnations, or you can say the most powerful gods or controllers, you can say the most powerful controllers in the material world are Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. So who are they and how are they connected with Lord Krishna? The question is Gunavatarayischa. I'll just share you the screen. Let's go to the verse number 28 and see. Gunavatarer Vishwasya Sargastitya Prayashrayam Srujata Srinivasasya Vyachakshodara Vikramam. So here the word important is Gunavataraha. Guna Avatara. Means there are 3 gunas. What are the 3 gunas? Sattva guna, Rajo guna and Tamo guna. 3 gunas. Correct? So the incarnation of Lord Krishna in correspondence to Sattva guna is Lord Vishnu. Incarnation of Lord Krishna with respect to Rajoguna is Lord Brahma. Incarnation of Lord Krishna with respect to Tamoguna is Lord Shiva. So one thing that we have to understand is Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma, 3 of them are actually incarnations of Krishna. So it's Krishna himself is incarnating to perform the creation, maintenance and destruction of the universe. Therefore, he's asking, specifically he's asking, please describe the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his magnanimous activities. So this forms the entire story of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Srimad Bhagavatam, the entire thing is about this. Okay, let's go to the next verse, 29. O great sage, kindly describe the divisions of orders of human society in terms of symptoms, behavior, and characteristics of mental equilibrium and sense control. Please describe the births of great sages and categorical divisions of the Vedas. You see, the human society is divided into 4 ashramas and 4 varnas. On basis of what? Guna karma vibhagashaha. What did Krishna say? In Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtva guna karma vibhagashaha. That means based on the nature. So here it's given based on the symptoms, behavior and characteristics of mental equilibrium and sense control, the 4 varnas have come. Brahmana, the intellectual class or the spiritual class. Kshatriya, the administrative class or the warrior class. Vaishya, the business class or the agricultural class. Shudra, or the worker class or the laborer class. These are the 4 varnas based on the gunas that they have come, not based on the birth. Now there are 4 ashrama. First 25 years is brahmachari. That is being a student under the supervision of a teacher in the Gurukula. Grihastha, 25 to 50, accepting a wife. Grihastha, 50 to 75, Vanaprastha. That means limited interaction with the materialistic world. Sannyasi, renouncing the family life. These are the 4 divisions of Varnas and Ashramas which have been done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead for progressive spiritual thing. We want to spiritually progress year after year. Just like we say, if there is somebody in the school, we'll say, after school, what are you going to do? If the student says, I'm going to stay back in school, we'll scold him. We'll say, come on, you can't be staying in the same class, same school. You should become better. Progress. Come on, progress. Upwards. So we have to progress. Now we have got a human form of life. We should progress upwards. The best is take up Krishna consciousness and go back to Godhead. That is the shortest and the fastest route. But if somebody says, no, I want to experiment for many lifetimes. Okay, for them, we have the progressive path. Go through the Varnashrama Dharma and progressively, better, get better and better and better. After many lifetimes, go back to God. Okay, so let's go to the next verse. Please describe the expansions of different sacrifices and paths of mystic powers, analytical study of the knowledge, and the devotional service with all the respective regulations. So here in this verse it said, Yagyasya cha vitanani yogasya cha pata prabho nishkarmasya naishkarmasya cha sankhyasyya tantram va bhagavat smritam. So here it said, please describe about sacrifice, yajna, describe about yoga, describe yajna, yoga, naishkarmya, sankhya and tantra. And as soon as we say tantra, people become very excited. Tantra. Okay, I know what this tantra is. This tantra is the black magic. No, this is not about that dark arts of tantra. There is a dark side of it, tantra, which is like called as Vama or the left-handed practices, which are given in the Vedas. They are actually practiced by the people who are in the mode of ignorance. Mode of goodness people, they don't practice that. The left-handed practices, which involves intoxication, meat eating, and illicit relationships. This is left-handed practice, Vama Chara and Vama Tantra. That is all Tamasika, the mode of ignorance. It is meant for those who are in mode of ignorance. So this Bhagavatam is in transcendental mode of goodness. It's for the Paramahamsas. It's at a different level. It is a cream of the Vedic literature. Why will it speak about such kind of Tantra? So this is about the Tantra, that is Pancharatrika Vidhi. Pancharatrika Vidhi, that is given by Narada. That is how to do deity worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That, okay, and when we say Sankhya, and people think, okay, I understand what is Sankhya. Yeah. It is monism. Everything is God. You are God, I am God, dog is God. No, that is not knowledge. That is actually ignorance. The real knowledge is theistic knowledge, to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to accept His superiority. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, and all the living entities are inferior to Him. Yes, they are qualitatively one, but not quantitatively. To simply say everything is one, everybody is God, you are God, I am God, dog is God, this is not a philosophy. This is ignorance actually. Okay, so that's why if you want really to know what is knowledge, you must read the Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy enunciated by Kapila Deva. So in that, everything has been explained technically very clearly with a theistic point of view, not in an atheistic point of view, like a covered Buddhism, just like, telling the Buddhist concepts and putting the name of the Vedas, not covered Buddhism. This is Krishna consciousness. That is, Sankhya must be whatever is given by Kapila Deva. That is incarnation of Lord Krishna. And Pashanda Patha Vaishamyam Pratiloma Niveshanam Jivasya Gatayo Yascha Yavatir Gunakarmajaha. Please describe the imperfections and the contradictions of the faithless atheists and the situation of the crossbreeding and the movements of the living entities in various species of life according to the particular modes of nature. So how many of you would like to are interested, you think that, that there are atheists, Pashanda Mata. Pashanda means atheists. How many of you would like to know more about Pashandas? Right? How many of you would like to know more about the faithless atheists? Right? Yes. So there are many Pashanda Mata within Hinduism also. We put a broad category and say Hinduism, everything finished. It's not like that. Within Hinduism also there are thousands of sects. Thousands. So the original final thing, Sanatana Dharma, is what Bhagavad Gita is. Whatever Krishna is speaking is the Sanatana Dharma. That means you get the highest benefit by following Bhagavad Gita, that you go back to God. If you take the lower other levels of knowledge, you will get some benefit, but it is not the topmost benefit. So there are so many Pashanda kind of things also, that is like faithless kind of knowledge is also available. Okay. I'll tell you something very interesting. So we think that Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma is a superficial religion. Okay, we'll do some rituals. Okay, we'll get married. Okay, we'll call the Brahmanas, and okay, we'll read some mantras. We'll do some vrat here and there, and we'll feel very religious, do some fasting randomly here and there, and finished. Right? Actually, I'll tell you what happens, the life and death of a materialistic person. It does not matter whether Hindu, Muslim, it does not matter. Okay, simply by putting a white label Hindu is not enough, actually. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam is saying. So we should not be a materialistic person. That is more important than just simply keeping one name or putting a label on us. We should be spiritual. We should be Krishna conscious. That is the purpose of life. And let's see what is the journey of a person who is religious but materialistic. Religious but materialistic means he is taking to the materialistic part of the religion, discarding Krishna consciousness. What happens to him? Let's see that. First of all, such a person who rejects Krishna consciousness, he cannot be happy because he is under constant lamentation because of ignorance. First of all, that person doesn't know that he is not the body. He has considered his body, land, and home and relatives as permanent. Okay, this is my permanent job. This is my permanent teeth. Permanent teeth. Teeth is not permanent, no. Bulb on moment, isn't it? After a couple of years, the teeth starts falling off. Where is permanency of the teeth? Where is permanency of the job? Where is permanency of the spouse or the land? But a materialistic person accepts it because of ignorance. Superficially religious, but no transcendental knowledge, not Krishna conscious. Deeply rooted attraction for body, wife, children, home, animals, wealth, and friends. Always burning with anxiety and performing sinful activities to maintain the family. Always trying to make the family happy. But the family is never satisfied. Whatever you do, family is not satisfied. But this person will not stop. He will not consider whether it is sinful or not, whether we should do this or not. Just continue doing it. Secure money by violence and desiring others' wealth also. It's not just whatever is being allocated by me is enough for me. No. I want others also. I want mine. I want yours. I want everybody's. Right? This is the mindset. So finally, what happens when such a person comes to old age? The family members only don't respect him. And he's treated like an old ox. You see, the ox, if it is young, they will feed very nice food, very nice quality food. They will nicely pamper it. Ox becomes very old, they'll keep it in the shed, somewhere in the corner. Or go and feed that old ox. Or a pet dog. How a pet dog is treated? Like that, an old person who is materialistic will be treated. Finally, comes to the diseased condition. Lamenting relatives will be crying. Oh, everybody will be crying. He'll be in a disease. Some sound will be coming from the throat, like that. So I'm saying this is the typical situation. I mean, this is what Bhagavatam is saying. And seeing his relatives crying, everybody is crying. He's about to die. Everybody is crying. He's seeing and lamenting and dead. So this is the life of a materialistic person. What about death? The Yamadutas will come and arrest him. It's not that the Vishnudutas will take him. Because all his life, this fellow has been materialistic and ignored Krishna consciousness. The Yamadutas will arrest him and drag him as he passes stool and urine in great fear. And then there'll be dogs that will bite on the path. He'll be whipped and punished in hells. And there are multiple hells. They'll be tortured in hells actually. And after suffering hellish punishment in a separate kind of a body for thousands of years, then they won't get the human form also. Born as animal. So after hell, what is it? Born as animal. Be born as animal. So that's what happens after death. So the life and death of a materialistic person is very dangerous. So any sane man will not reject this path of Krishna consciousness. Unless he has no brain, he will not reject the path of Krishna consciousness. Because the path of the life also is bad, death also is bad, post-death. Nothing is good without Krishna consciousness. You see? That's why the faithless atheists, that's why, I read something very strong and very interesting. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, those people who do not accept Krishna consciousness, they are foolish, unintelligent, stubborn, ignorant, and they are actually hellish. There cannot be a bigger fool than such a person. Because such an easy path has been given to end the suffering once for all, to go back to Godhead. And if we don't take it up, and if we take the hellish alternatives, then what can we talk about the intelligence of that person? Right? So let's see the next one, 32. You may please describe the non-contradictory causes of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and salvation, and different means of livelihood and different process of law and order mentioned in the revealed scriptures. So this is called as the Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Dharma means religious principles. That means we are doing some religious principles to satisfy various living entities and higher powers, etc. That is dharma, to do your occupational duty as given in the Veda. Artha means economical development. That is like, earning money and accumulating money. Kama means sense gratification. With the money that has been accumulated, enjoying our senses is called kama. Moksha means liberation from all of these three. Moksha means liberation from all of these three. That's what has been asked in this 32. Let's go to 33. Please explain the regulations for offering respects to the forefathers, the creation of the Pitruloka, the time schedule in the planets, stars, luminaries, and their respective situations. You see, there is a process in Sanatana Dharma that we offer oblations to our forefathers. Correct? This is called Shraddha ceremony. Right? This Shraddha ceremony is performed once in a year. Correct? And it has been asked, what is the time schedule of the planets and the stars and the luminaries? So these are called as the Preta Karma or the death rites. Okay. So some specific verses I took. It is said that we must do the annual death ceremony, must be performed. It is an injection given in the Vedas. Right? This is the reformative samskaras must be performed, and the funeral ceremony and the annual death ceremonies must be performed. And they must perform on the Mahalaya Amavasya and Bhadra Purnima later part, Bhadra month later part. Like that, there are some parts of the year also at that time, it is recommended to do the Shraddha ceremony. So those people who do Sakama Karma, that is do Shraddha ceremonies, that is without Krishna consciousness, they will actually go to Pitruloka. Okay, Pitrun Yanti Pitruvratan. Okay, so those people who worship the Pitrus or the forefathers, they go to the world of the forefathers. At least it is better than going to hell. So the life of Brahma is 311 trillion years. One day of Brahma is 432 crore years, and it has 14 manvantaras, and one manvantara is 306 million years. In that we are in one Divya Yuga. One Divya Yuga is 43 lakh years, and we are right now in the Kali Yuga, 4,32,000 years. So this is so clearly described in our scriptures. Everything is there. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Please describe the fruitive results of charity, penance, and digging reservoirs of water. Please describe the situation of persons who are away from home and also the duty of a man in awkward position. So that means, there are some ritualistic activities, karma kanda is specifically prescribed for grihasthas, that they must do donation. charity is recommended in the Karma Kanda. Even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Yajna, Dana and Tapa, that is charity, penance and fire sacrifice, they must not be stopped by anybody at any circumstance because they purify us. So charity is good. So there are some materialistic charity activities that are given are digging the reservoir of water. If you dig a big reservoir of water, the rainwater can stay there and a lot of living entities can subsist based on that water. So that is why we see so many lakes are there in our cities which were built in the past. Now the lakes are encroached and then they are constructing buildings. Is it not? So they have dug, our forefathers, they have dug these wells or the lakes for us. The purpose was people will get clean water. And then there are the people who are going to the forest are called Vanaprastha. They have certain duties. And the people who are in an emergency, they have certain duties. So everything is there. Actually, if we hear Mahabharata, we can see how the Pandavas were acting at different point of time. So seeing them, we can understand, how the dharma is, right? So when they were in the forest, they were behaving in a certain way. When they were in exile, they were behaving in a certain way, right? When they were in incognito, they were behaving in a certain way. So when they were kings, they were behaving in a certain way. So they know dharma very well, right? So let's go to the next verse. O sinless one, because the personality of Godhead is the father of religion and all the candidates for religious activities, kindly describe how he can be completely satisfied. So here is the main point. How to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Actually, this is the point of Bhagavatam. This is the point of Bhagavatam. This is the point of our life. We are trying to satisfy our ego. We are trying to satisfy our relatives, our friends, family. But that is not going to give us the permanent result. The permanent satisfaction is the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of God. It's called Samsiddhi Haritoshanam. Samsiddhi Haritoshanam means you act in a way in your life that you can satisfy God. Then your life is perfect. Not in a way that you want to satisfy your ego or your relative's ego or your friend's ego or your parents' ego. That is not perfection. This is the perfection. How to satisfy the Lord. So therefore, this is a very important question. So he is addressing Krishna as the father of the religion. Dharma Yoni. That is, the dharma is coming from Krishna. Right? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranito. Krishna is giving the religious activities. And unfortunately, there are some set of people, due to ignorance, we are judging Krishna on religious principles. This is the joke. Krishna is the father of the religious principles. And we are sitting, instead of seeing our situation, we are judging Krishna. Oh, Krishna has run away from the war. Oh, Krishna has stolen butter. Krishna has done this. Krishna has done this. Krishna can do anything because he is the father of the religion. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Swarat. He is independent. He is not dependent on our opinion. He is not dependent on any kind of bondage or any kind of limitation. He is unlimited. So that we have to understand. So, but we have to follow the religious principles given by him. Okay, not that we artificially try to imitate Krishna. That will be the most dangerous thing to do. We should take the instructions of Krishna and follow. Okay. Verse number 36. O best of Brahmanas, those who are spiritual masters are very kind to the needy. They're always kind to their followers, disciples, and sons. And without being asked by them, the spiritual master describes all that is knowledge. So he's inciting the compassion of Maitreya Rishi. He's saying, you are very, very, very compassionate. So please give whatever is there to me. Whatever knowledge that you have acquired from the Supreme Personality of God, and you give it to me. This is the way to acquire knowledge. We should incite the compassion of the teacher. So requestingly ask. You see the spiritual master, when he is pleased, he gives us everything. So we have not served Srila Prabhupada, but Srila Prabhupada has given everything in his books. And Prabhupada says that everything is there in my books. So he has given it everything. So just imagine if we can serve a pure devotee and serve the spiritual master, now what we can get is unimaginable. Okay. Please describe how many dissolutions are there. We think there is only one dissolution, right? No, there are many. There are 3 dissolutions. You know what? First one is called as Kala. Second one is called as Dravya. Third one is called as Guna. 3 kinds of pralaya. Let's see Kala. Kala means when the scheduled time comes, annihilation of the entire universe happens. When the day of Brahma is over, okay, there is an annihilation that happens. When the Manvantara is finished, a dissolution happens. So this is called as Kala. Next one is Dravya. Dravya is that annihilation which happens when the fire from Anantashesha comes. So at the end of the universe, you see what happens is Anantashesha, he has got thousands of heads, and fire will come out of his mouths and will burn entire universe into ashes. That is Dravya. Guna is due to qualitative actions and reactions. There is one kind of annihilation. Let's go to the next one. So what are the truths of the living entities and the Supreme Lord? What are their identities? What are the specific values in knowledge of the Vedas and necessities for the spiritual master and his disciples? So what is the necessity for the spiritual master and his disciples? Do we need a spiritual master? How many of you think that we don't need a spiritual master? How many of you think that we need a spiritual master? How many of you think that we can understand transcendental knowledge without a spiritual master? How many of you think that we can go back to Godhead without a spiritual master? Is it possible? Lord Krishna had a spiritual master. Lord Ramachandra had spiritual master. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had spiritual master. Even the Supreme Lord is having spiritual master. And why can't we have a spiritual master? And how can we have any progress without spiritual master? Is it possible? If it is not needed, why would Krishna go to Sandipani Muni? Why would Rama go to Vasishta or Vishwamitra? Why would Chaitanya Mahaprabhu take initiation under Ishwarapuri? Right? So this is something we have to reflect. It's very important. The spiritual master, the Vedic civilization, the technology is in the disciplic succession. Get connected to the disciplic succession, accept a spiritual master, and become liberated. It is as simple as that. That is the instruction of the Vedas. It doesn't matter whether he is a man or a woman or young or old. They must accept a bona fide spiritual master who is coming in an authorized parampara. And that is the chance of going back to God. 39. Spotless devotees of the Lord have mentioned the source of such knowledge. How can one have knowledge of the devotional service without the help of such devotees? So that is the point here. So only the spotless devotees can understand that. So how can we get this knowledge of devotional service and detachment without the help of devotees? See, spiritual master means he is a disciple himself. Try to understand. Spiritual master is not God. Spiritual master is a representative of God. Now, God himself, Krishna, if he comes in the form of an external form, that is spiritual master. So he has come in the form that I can see. Krishna has come in the form that I can see to give me instructions. That is spiritual master. Spiritual master is special because he is a pure devotee. Sakshat haritvena samasta shastre uktas tata bhav yatayeva sadbhir kintu prabhurya priyayeva tasya vande guram Sri Charanarvinda. Because he is a pure devotee of Krishna, because he is very dear to Krishna, therefore, for me, he is as good as Krishna. This is the attitude for the disciple. I shall worship my spiritual master. I shall worship my Guru Maharaj as I will worship Krishna, because he is a pure devotee of Krishna. Because for me, he is as good as Krishna. So that is the recommendation of the Shastras. Only by the service of such pure devotees, we can actually go back to God. My dear says, therefore, I have put all these questions before you, with a view of knowing the pastimes of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the friend of all, so kindly describe them for all those who have lost their vision. You see, this is addressing us. In the Kali Yuga, we have lost our vision due to the dense darkness of Kali. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada te moha kalilam, buddhir te vyatitarishyati. That means, just imagine entering into a very dense vegetative forest. There is such a dense forest that even the sunlight is not coming down. It's so filled with trees. I mean, it is so dark. Even despite of the sunlight is not even reaching the ground because it is so dense forest. And it is very big forest. And if I keep you in middle of the forest and say, come out of it. Can you come out of it? How many of you think that you can come out of it? Very dense forest. You can't see anything. You can't see forward, backward, left or right. This is called as dense darkness of illusion. So this is our position. Krishna is saying, Yada te moha kalilam buddhir te vyatitarishyati. Once we come out of this dense dark forest of illusion, that is knowledge. Right? So we have lost our vision. Therefore, we are not attracted to Krishna. Therefore, we are not attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. Maitreya Rishi is very kindly, Vidura is asking Maitreya Rishi kindly for us, that because we don't even know what question to ask. We will again ask the question out of illusion. Here are some questions that can remove us out of illusion. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. That is like come out of darkness to the light. Right? These are the questions that can bring out of the Tamasoma to Jyotirgamaya, to the light, from the darkness to the light. So these are the questions that he's asking on behalf of us. Please tell us the pastimes of the Lord. We have lost our vision. O spotless one, your answers to these questions will grant immunity from all material miseries. Such charity is greater than all Vedic charity, sacrifice, penance, etc. That's why Srila Prabhupada used to say, distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. Because Prabhupada is a book Bhagavata, is a person Bhagavata. There are two types of Bhagavata, person Bhagavata, book Bhagavata. Somebody who reads Bhagavatam and lives by Bhagavatam is called as person Bhagavata. So Prabhupada is person Bhagavata. So whatever he writes, whatever he speaks, whatever he instructs is Bhagavatam. So he has written so many books very mercifully, small books, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita as it is, and Chaitanya and the Srimad Bhagavatam 18 cantos. So Prabhupada used to become very excited like a child when somebody comes and says, Prabhupada, I have distributed books. Then his eyes will become wide open. He will say, how many books? Where did you distribute? What was their reaction? You see, this is called charity of knowledge. This is the most satisfying thing in the world. Very powerful, right? This charity is better than any kind of Vedic charity. You see, giving gold to Brahmanas, giving cows to Brahmanas. Much better than that. All the sacrifices, whatever, Ashwamedha Yajna, Rajasuya Yajna, whatever. All the penances, better than all of that is to give the charity of the transcendental knowledge. Therefore, Vidura is requesting Maitreya, please, please, please tell us this knowledge. So this knowledge is recorded in the Bhagavatam that we are discussing, right? This is the topmost knowledge. Jnananam jnanam uttamam means the topmost knowledge, after knowing which there is nothing remaining to be known. The conclusive verse of this chapter. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, thus the chief of the sages, who was always enthusiastic about topics relating to the personality of Godhead, began to narrate the descriptive explanation of the Puranas, being so infused by Vidura. He was very so much enlivened by speaking on the transcendental activities of the Lord. So what has happened? Maitreya Rishi now is about to speak. Maitreya Rishi is going to speak now. Because he was very much encouraged by the questions asked by Vidura. So this should be our mood of listening Bhagavatam. We should ask our questions in such a way that, speaker becomes very enthusiastic. The transcendental knowledge should be acquired like this. First of all, we should be very energetic to receive the knowledge. Utsaha. Utsaha means energy. Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya. Utsaha, enthusiasm. Yes, I will do it. I can do it. Enthusiasm. So Maitreya Rishi was enthusiastic and he was slightly, infused by Vidura, and now he's just going to go on for next so many chapters. Just going to go on. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So that's about today's chapter. Okay. Now Maitreya Rishi is going to speak. So that's about today's chapter. So thank you very much for a patient listening. If you have any questions, you can ask. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, what is this dissolution? Guna, karma, something you told. Guna, dravya. Dravya.
Yeah, guna, annihilation, and there are actually three kinds of annihilation: guna, dravya, and kala. Guna, dravya, and kala. So, kala is the timely scheduled annihilation. So, at a particular time, some kind of annihilation has to happen. For example, at the end of Manvantara, there is one annihilation that happens. At the end of the day of Brahma, annihilation happens, and everybody will enter into the belly of Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, all the living entities and all the material worlds. Okay, that is one kind of annihilation. Another kind of annihilation is at the end of the universe, at the end of lifetime of Brahma, the entire material universe will be destroyed. So for that, the entire universe, it has to be made into ashes. How do you make it into ashes? Let us say there is a ball, just like a ball of cow dung. You see, dried cow dung manure, they make balls, isn't it? And they use it as a fuel. If you ignite it, it will burn for some time. After that, it will become ashes. So the same analogy has been given in Bhagavatam, that the end of the lifetime of Brahma, this entire universe will be burnt into ashes by the fire coming from the Ananta Shesha's mouths. Okay, that is called as one kind of annihilation. That is dravya. Another kind of annihilation is guna. Guna is like annihilation based on our reactions. So there is one kind of annihilation when after self-realization, that's one kind of annihilation. Okay, that's one kind of annihilation because the material universe no longer exists for a self-realized soul. So that is one kind of annihilation. Is that all right?
Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
When we'll get this recording, Prabhuji, where we have to see?
Yes, you can get this recording. I'll put it on YouTube. You can get from YouTube.
Can you share, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
I'll share, Mataji. Sure.
I want to see again.
Sure, definitely. Sure.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
We are still in the first day of Brahma, no? 7th Manu going on.
7th month. No, it's a day of Brahma. In the day of Brahma, we are not in the first day of Brahma. Brahma has completed 50 years. We are in the 51st year.
Okay, and which Manu are we in now?
Vaivasvata Manu. Vivasvan.
Oh.
Vaivasvata Manu, sorry. Vaivasvata Manu.
So, totally there are 14 Manus.
14 Manus.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, once a soul is transferred from other one body to some other thing, it is everything we are forgetting. And we are annual rituals we are performing. What is the sanctity of that, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Even though we forget, and see, the soul is transferred from one body to another body. Okay.
Yes.
And with the help of these rituals that are there, annual death ceremony rituals, it is possible to give them food, the people who have passed away, wherever they may be. Most likely they may be in some kind of a staging area before they got the human form of life. Because typically what happens after the death, they will either go to the hell or the heavenly planets.
Yes.
Okay. Or they will be not having any kind of body at all. Okay. So the first idea is that by doing this ceremonies, they will first of all get a body, either to enjoy or suffer. Suffer in the hell or enjoy in the heaven. At least it is better than not having a body, because it is more worse. Okay, so at least by doing these annual rituals, they will get a, first of all, they'll get a body and they'll get, food to eat. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay, so it is good to do them. Karma Kanda rituals, they are recommended. But interesting thing about Krishna consciousness is, if somebody is surrendering to Krishna, performing Krishna consciousness very nicely, all the 10 generations above and 10 generations below, they will all be liberated. They will all go back to Godhead. And not only that, Prabhupada says not just 10 generations, thousands of generations can be liberated. Thousands.
Very nice. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
That is the beautiful point of Krishna consciousness. Thousands of generations will be liberated. Devarshi Bhutaptal Rinam Pitruna. Completely we can nullify our, our debt to the forefathers can be completely nullified with Krishna consciousness. The only process which can do that, 100% Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Prabhu, for asking the
Hare
question.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Prabhuji, one more thing.